right now we are going to have the chance to ask our questions to Marcos Moura. And in this interview, we are going to talk about how to go from 0 to 100 million using the same tactics as Apple, Nike, and other Fortune brands. Well, Marcos Moura, you're going to tell your story of your company with 750 people in this digital company and how it worked for you and your funnel system. Marcos received the prize for his work at the digital marketing. Marcos and his company have been already mentioned in the marketing magazine. He was raised in Sao Paulo, Brazil, up to 15 years old, and now he lives in California with his wife and 3 children. So, you're very welcome. Thank you so very much. Thank you for the invitation. Look, my Portuguese is, well, it's a bit rusty. I've been living in America. Be honest, man. I'm going to use a little bit Portuguese, a little bit English at the same time. And be honest, man, you've been practicing with me Portuguese and English every week. I tend to speak a little bit more in English, and he's been forcing me into Portuguese. I believe there are many ways to create a company as yours, but very few of them have the chance to do this, to be so successful in such a little time. What was your secret? When we started in 2012, we didn't have anything. And besides, before that, I had worked in another company, similar company, which was growing like $100 million a year, and they bankrupted. They broke down. And that's the difference between the company that we had in 2008 and what we have now. First difference is when you have a company, anything that you sell something, and any and every company, when they come from 0 to $100 million, the problem you have that you get a profit. You take the profits of the company, and you have two options when your business is growing. One thing is to spend all the profits in luxury products, cars, vacations, clothes, and many other things that people are going to think are interesting. And the other option is to reinvest the profits within the company. And basically, as an investor, you need to reinvest in your own company instead of spending all the profits. Of course, it's I know this is basic, but it is the number one. I believe it's number one rule, and I believe that whatever we normally fail in the basics because we're trying to understand something further. And how have you reached the mark of 100 million? Reinvesting in the company. Yeah, one of the reasons why we got it is exactly because we developed the company for many years. We started in 2012 until 2016, 17, I wasn't living an incredible life, rich. I didn't have vacations. I didn't have trips. I was living in a small house, and I think it's very important that you have to live life like not spending too much if you wanna reach $100 million company. So in the first company we had, we did the opposite. As soon as the profit started, we started spending everything. And now we understood that basically this is what you have to do. You need to focus and reinvest and save this money. The other thing that we did is that we are a franchising company. And one thing that we do basically is that we sell our system, our know-how, to a company that wants to do the same. So we are franchising. So I sell my techniques, I sell my knowledge to an affiliate, and the affiliate buys me $48,000 to buy my system. So for you who have but what I do is that I sell this high-tech item. You sell an offer of an expensive value. So I'm not selling $100 course. Well, you don't need to offend me. Well, that's the reason why you made $100 million. I said, that's true. You can take 1 million people by $30 and sell to 1 million people, or you can sell $100 to 100 people. So if you're selling anything expensive of a high price, one thing that you really do have to do in the very beginning, and many companies, I believe, they don't do this. Even if they are doing something of a lower price, you really need to know who you are trying to attract, who you are trying to sell to. And I know this might be way too basics, but many people do not determine the people whom they want to sell to. Nike, for example, I think very interesting that in the 60s, the Nike company, when we talk about Nike, we think of a huge company. But in the 60s, in the 64, 65, Nike had one single product. And the product was one single running shoes. That's exactly, and the one single product that they had, and it was for casual running, or it was for running 100 meters. It was for one very specific type of running. And when Nike started, everything that they had, all the energy, all the time, everything that they created was for one single product and for one single athlete. And that was like that for 10 years. For about 10 years. One thing that I see as an investor, well, one thing is that when they see that something really works, they start misfocusing. So if this worked, so let's start trying to now change the focus, change the product, but the day has 24 hours and that's it. But I believe that if you want a company that is going to be recognized for everybody one day, in my opinion, in the first 5 years, or maybe until the 10 first years, you need to focus on one single product for one type of person, not to lose energy and focus. On the contrary, tell me one thing, Marcus. Different from most people, one thing that you did is that you bet in the LinkedIn advertisement, and it was very well succeed, which normally is not the most common. Normally, people go to Instagram and everything, but you focused on LinkedIn. Why LinkedIn not was your choice, and is it still a good option, a big, huge option? Well, the reason why we decided for that was we were trying for one specific type of person. We were not searching for people who were searching something to buy or who had one specific interest in something. I was searching for one specific, for a very specific kind of person. And instead of looking for people who are, well, you should focus on what kind of career they have, what kind of group they are inserted in. For example, if you have one product or one service which is ideal for a 20-year-old girl in the fitness business, you might find this person very easy in the LinkedIn. And there are few advertisers who are doing this. And in our case, I wanted to find a person who works for Abbott company and who sells for Abbott and who is older than 40 years old. So imagine that I work with them and I am older than 40. That was my ideal. And you imagine, my work was simply to attract these person, these kind of people. So I wasn't interested in any other different kind of person. I was really interested on this very specific type of people. And were you willing to pay more for one ad to find these people than paying less for ads which were wider and would reach other people, but not this specific group that you needed? People have difficulties on understanding why advertisements in LinkedIn are more expensive. Is it possible? Is it true? Is it good to pay more for one more specific kind of client, or for one more specific kind of people that you need to find? And this kind of ideas is exactly that. Sometimes you want to sell your product for people in the area of financials or mechanics, or the things that it's very broad, it's very wide, this kind of this public or these people. And the point is that when you make a video or you write your advertisement or you choose the colors for your advertisement, the chance, if your audience is way too wide, it's going to be very hard to be specific, to choose specific things for your ads. There are too many things happening at the same time. And nowadays, we know very well that if one ad is not really very specific for you, it's not going to be interesting to anybody. And the only way we can do this is that, as an advertiser, you need to know what really bothers the person. So it's to know what really bothers the person. If you know that deeply, then you might write an advertisement and make videos and choose the message that's going to attract your client, the person that you want to attract, and you're going to spend less attracting them. The advertisement is more expensive, but on the other hand, you spend less money, so you are very specific in what you are doing. So you need to invest. You end up investing a little less because it's more effective. You seem to know very well whom you want to talk to, but it's very scary to assume that, yeah, okay, you are not going to sell to everybody. I'm going to sell for this specific kind of people, and you are going to you start narrowing the group. Yeah, sure, I understand. I have a friend here in San Clemente, and who started a company and CRM. And he thought, I'm going to do this only for the dealers, for the automobile dealers. So it would be a work very strict for these people and their clients. There are many companies doing this, but they are not millions. And I started doing this, and after 10 years, he had some difficulties. And a couple of years ago, he sold the company for over $500 million because it was a company very specifically dedicated to one very specific kind of client. And in the beginning, you are not going to be very good speaking to this client when you begin. But it's like dancing, pretty much like dancing with your audience. So when you dance for 10 years with the same audience, you end up a master. Nowadays, I might write them an advertisement, for example. I know what to do. I know how to appeal to them, so that I know them better than them know themselves. What are the bases of the funnel of $100 million that the other funnels do not have? Well, good questions. Good question. I had the chance to spend a little time with Russel Brunson. One thing that he says about the funnels like mine, big funnels like mine, Russell says that they are basically simple. One thing that he says is that, for example, if I start many different funnels which are simple, they work out. They are very specific for one type of people, and they work very well. I have one advertisement, for example, that says, that's your life after Abbott. Imagine, for example, that I'm working and my boss was kind of rude to me, and I am slightly, I'm mad at that, and And imagine I I see a company saying this. Imagine your life after Abbott. So they give me one name and one phone number. So I do not ask. In the beginning, I do not ask a name, name, phone, and email. I'm sorry. If you have a funnel with 10 different questions in the very beginning, because you want to know everything in advance, where they live, the address, it doesn't work. You want to know too many things that are useless in this initial step. Even calling only name, phone number, and email, it's already too much. So many times, even only the first name and the mail. And then further on, you might ask for further information, but well, you do this live. Oh, it's interesting. It's alive. And I do the webinar. I do the webinar. I've been doing this for 8 years every week. So you prove that the funnel, the 100 million funnel, is simple, but you need to work a lot on this. Well, another tip about consistency is that what I have realized is that if I was trying to make a webinar recorded, my audience realized easy that it was recorded, and there wasn't the chatting, for example, that I needed, and there are many details. But one thing that really works for me is that it's to do this live. And another thing is that your audience, they want to see something now. I also try to have someone else in the company to do the webinar for me. But what happened, not that I'm very important, but when the audience realizes that the webinar is with the founder of the company, the owner of the company, and I'm going to spend my time alive to speak with them, so they dedicate their attention also instantaneously, because they realize that it's a very important person who is giving their time in order to help us, spending their time. And it might be very workful when most definitely it is you need to work a lot on this, because it's hard to have time to do all these, being the owner of the company.